Hello, everybody. I am the host with the platform most, Troy here. We're back at it. We're predicting, as the time of this recording, we're 5 days away from the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. I am excitement, excited is like an understatement for me. I am beyond thrilled for this Direct. I love my Nintendo Switch. The Switch has been an overrunning success for Nintendo, and everyone's been very curious what the follow-up will be here. I mean, again, I still remember the Switch Pro rumors from like 2020, 2021, even leaning on the 2022 and 2023 when we now go like, well, there's got to be a new system in the works, right? And like the rumors and speculations, and now that we finally have an idea, we have a date of when we're going to see this thing. When they dropped that little teaser back in late January that just got the mind racing with that teaser of that Mario Kart. It's just that tease. We're just like, it's finally real. It's a real thing, and it's looking to be probably just the Switch again, just more powerful and a little bit more quirks. Which honestly, that's what I expect here. That's what I want it for. I still feel like there's gonna be some weird Nintendo thing here. I'll mention that in my particularly more with the mouse capability. But let's kind of go more into the predictions type stuff here. First of all, I mean, this Switch 2 has a big barrier to go. It's like it's following up Nintendo's most successful era ever. Like, this is their most profitable. Like, not only the Switch is now as the time of this recording, the third best-selling console of all time. Probably gonna overtake the DS at some point. Has a chance of overtaking the PS2. But like software, every game franchise has that launched on the Switch or had games on the Switch has series performing best. Like every franchise, like. I think the only one you can maybe say is maybe Donkey Kong Country in some ways, but like Mario, Zelda, Pokemon, the heavy hitters, even like Pikmin, Paper Mario, like the smaller, like every series, like almost every series that has got a new title on the Nintendo Switch perform series best numbers. Like Nintendo's IP is probably never been bigger now than it was at like before. So it's going to be interesting to see how they keep that momentum regarding that here. I think the biggest thing is just like how powerful is this system and like what are the upgrades that we're going to be seeing here. A lot of people are speculating the power is going to be on par of the PS4 Pro, which I think that's pretty reasonable. That's kind of what I'm expecting. Maybe a little bit more powerful. I'm not expecting like PS5 or Xbox Series X levels. Maybe approaching the Xbox Series S. Like, I could see that, but again, I still think that's more of a pipe dream than anything else. Like, again, this is while it is a hybrid, you can play this at home. It is primarily a console that is meant to be taken on the go. Like, it is a portable console. So, and they're sticking with it. It's just interesting in this landscape because now they are entering a landscape where there's now competitors that has similar to it, like with the Steam Deck and all these PC handheld devices. So it's going to be very fascinating to see how Nintendo kind of rivals that with their tech-wise. Again, Nintendo has never been big with the tech or like powerful. Like their last like truly powerful console was the GameCube, and that's like one of their worst performing systems ever, which is unfortunate because that system slaps. One of my favorite consoles of all time. I did grow up with the GameCube, so I digress, but I still love the GameCube. But regardless on that here, like, I'm not expecting a powerful machine. I just want most games to run at 1080p 60 frames per second. Particularly Nintendo games, I think all of them should run at 1080p at the 60 frames per second at the bare minimum. I do expect some form of 4K upscaling. Like, because there's been that rumor that they have that chip that can like upscale 4K in like any device that has it here. So I hope that is a thing. That'd be really neat because it'd be really cool. I feel like I don't want to say it's a first short thing because I can't see them oversighting it. I do think it would be a big misstep if they do. But I do expect that on it well. But like power wise, as long as it hits like that, a little bit more power, like a PS4 Pro, maybe a little bit more powerful, I think I'll be fine with it. Like, again, I'm not expecting a lot. I just want games to look better than they do on the Switch. Because again, the Switch is like running on practically late 2000s, early 2010s hardware. So if we can just even get like late 2010s hardware on the go, I think that's a win here. The biggest hurdle I do see is just like how like the third-party support and how they're going to maintain the ports with the third parties compared to like the next gen console. I granted, a lot of developers are still like making games for PS4 and Xbox One, so I do feel like that shouldn't be an issue now. It's just kind of later down the line, as we saw in the Switch lifespan, that's became when it becomes an issue here. So I'm just kind of curious. I don't think we're going to see that addressed here or even in the first year or so. That's just kind of something I'm just keeping an eye on that end here. The weird Nintendo gimmick I expect this time around, and I think we're all predicting this, is the mouse. Like, what is this mouse capability with the Joy-Con? Like, what is this mouse capability? Like, what can we do with it? And how is it going to be implemented in the games? Again, I don't expect this to be like a mind-blowing thing. I do expect it to be somewhat tied with Metroid Prime 4, Beyond, with the first-person shooter aspect here. I can see that happening. I just am curious, like, how they're going to integrate it, and how they're going to, make you really try to sell on this feature. If that's the weird Nintendo feature, I'm also pretty happy with it. I was kind of wondering, like, is this going to be like the most traditional transition that we ever see Nintendo? Because Nintendo always wants to try something really new with their hardware, something unique or quirky. I mean, we have seen it literally since the Super Nintendo. Like, I think the NES and Super Nintendo was the most traditional transition we have ever gotten. Everything else, there has at least been always some kind of quirk or some Nintendo quirk to it. On that end, I also want to see how these cartridges look. Like, what are these cartridges like? How we're gonna extenuate, like, kind of like with the DS and 3DS. Like, DS was black, 3DS had like the white with that little knob on the top right. I want to know like, how is it gonna be kind of similar to that? Like, what's gonna bring unique to the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 physical wise? Because I still think they're going to support physical media. I know a lot of people are kind of speculating with the recently announced virtual game card, if they're going to kind of go all digital. I do think there is going to be an all digital version of the Switch 2. I do, and that's going to be like their cheaper model, and that's going to be probably the model that they really push the most. But I do still see a physical model. I'll probably see that a bit more expensive, maybe like $50 more, no more than 100. I hope it's not that, but that's what I see on that end. And speaking of price point, I expect the Steam to launch around 400 to 450 USD. I do see 500 at the very highest, and I do see 500 as a likely potential at a launch point. But I do think if it is launched at $500, more than $500, it's gonna have a hard uphill battle, because again, that's where you're competing with PS5 and Xbox Series X, and you're like, if you're not on the level of those systems power wise, it's gonna be a tough sell. Yeah, even if the portability, it's gonna be a tough sell. So and Nintendo has always been more about affordability with their console, so I do expect this not to be like 300, 350 at the lowest, and even then, I don't even think that's going to happen. I think 400, 450 is the most realistic expectation for this price here. USD, of course, not like worldwide and stuff. I'm unfortunately not too current with the currencies around the world. I apologize for my ignorant American ways here. But that's kind of where I see here. Launch date time. There's been a lot of speculation on June. I'm predicting summer. I say a June or July. June makes the most sense because that's kind of where that's kind of a busy time for gaming. There's already been a lot of titles announced for June. You could definitely use the Summer Game Fest, Jeff Keighley's Summer's Game Fest, to kind of help you promote it. Like, it gives you enough time. It fits that same span with the Switch 1 when it was announced. Like, it was announced in October. We got the full reveal in January, and then we got the release in early March. So a few months, we got the announcement in January. We're getting the full reveal in early April. And June seems like that 2-month gap. That's like for to really push it. I see that can make sense here. Just get it going, and then go just roll off that banner year to the holidays here on that. So I think that June, no later than July. I'd be shocked if August. August is the absolute latest I see this console dropping. I don't see it launching at the holiday season. I do see a big push on the holiday, but I see it launching in the summer. But June, a lot of sources are saying June is looking like the most likely. I think I feel like that's pretty, like, a comfortable bet on that end here. And they're apparently going to do a free phase plan here, primarily for it's going to be like first party or close partners. That's really going to be at launch, and then that's when dev kits are going to become available for like indie developers and like smaller publishers and studios to like put their games on there. So I predict it's not going to be like a huge launch game wise, but I do see a pretty decent support launch here. Which, speaking of which, what launch games are we going to expect for this thing? Like, obviously we're going to hear it in this direct. I think Metroid Prime 4 Beyond will be a launch title for the Switch 2. I think it's going to be the cross-gen release, like Breath of the Wild, Twilight Princess, like that kind of thing. Like, we did get a little bit more information. We got the box art at the Nintendo Switch Direct that was aired yesterday on Thursday, March 27th. I feel the only reason why we didn't get a release date for Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, sorry, I just get that stuck in my head. Metroid with the Metroid Prime 4 is because I think it's going to be giving away the launch of the Switch 2's release. And I feel with the Switch 2, you don't want to give that just for a game. Like, you want to save that for the Switch 2 Direct. So I do see Metroid Prime 4 Beyond as a launch title. I think Mario Kart 8 or whatever we call it. I don't even want to call it Mario Kart 9 yet. The new Mario Kart. Is it a launch title? I feel like it is. Like, if it's the first game you show with a console, that's the game that's gonna be like launch, if not in launch window, right? I feel like if it's not at launch, which there's a good chance, like, I'm not even like comfortable to say it's going to be a launch title. I do see it as a launch window game. Like, I mean, saying within the first month or two. Like, I see it like if it doesn't launch it with the system, I'm talking like it comes out that next month, if not 2 months down the line. Like, it's gonna be within the first 2 months of the console that we see this new Mario Kart. And I'm just very curious. So much speculation on that. Like, it's clearly gonna look like it's gonna support 24 racers at once. The courses are bigger. We got a new art style, looking more like the Mario Wonder art style that they implemented with that game, which I'm more all for. I love that art style here. It's really hard to speculate Mario Kart, whatever this new Mario, because again, we've been waiting for over 10 years. Like, this is Nintendo's GTA. Like, this is a game that they supported for over 10 years, and it's their highest selling game on the Nintendo Wii U and the Nintendo Switch, the best selling Mario Kart game, and one of the great best selling games of all time. This will be a system seller. This will potentially help people buy the Switch 2 at launch, if not within the first year of it. So it's just kind of speculating. I hope for better online. I hope there's a little bit more single player content. I would love if mission mode comes back. Like, I'm not expecting a story mode, but mission mode will be really cool. I just hope there's like a little bit more meat to the single player campaign aspect than just like, online races. If that's not the case, like, I can live with that. It's just that's something I would like to do. I would love to see this roster. It is going to still be all Nintendo Mario characters. Are they going to still bring Nintendo characters into the mix, or could this potentially become like the new Smash, where we get third-party reciprocation into this here? It's hard to predict, because like I feel like this is the one I can go completely crazy of, but I necessarily don't want to get my hopes up. As long as like it's within the first few months of the Switch, if not a launch title, better online, and there's some better form of single player, I am all for it here. And I want to know what the gimmick here, like, is the gimmick like the big courses? Is there's an adventure fear? Like, what is this gimmick? I feel like the gimmick probably might be the single player stuff, because I don't know mechanically how much more you can really improve Mario Kart at this point. But if anyone's gonna do it, it's the Mario Kart Nintendo team. So either way, I do see Mario Kart 8, not Mario Kart, I can't keep on saying Mario Kart 8, the new Mario Kart, if not a launch title, within the launch window. And it's going to probably get the big showcase. It's probably going to be the big game that really pushed to sell the console here. Another game that I think they're going to push, see as a holiday release, is we're seeing 3D Mario. Like, we have to see a new Mario at this point. It's been over 7 years. Oh, no, it's been 7 years since we had Odyssey. Oh, it's been over 7 years actually. Yeah, it's been over 7 years since we had Odyssey. We had Bowser's Fury, which was a little like kind of potential peek of what the future of 3D Mario would look like back in 2021 with the re-release of Super Mario 3D World. I mean, I don't like, and especially with the fact that this console is coming out the same year as the 40th anniversary of the Super Mario series. It's 3D Mario is like a surefire thing. The thing is like, is it gonna be Odyssey 2? Is it gonna be a new thing here? I see it as a new thing. I do see them bringing Cappy in some way, but I don't think it's gonna be a big infamous like it was in Odyssey. I do see more of what they were kind of teasing with Bowser Fury, the more truly open world sandbox X Mario. We're probably gonna get like about like 5 or 6 of those kingdom or like worlds that we could truly explore. And it's just like a complete sandbox with platforming challenges all over the place. Like I see that being more of the template of what the future Mario will be, especially with the controls and the mechanics of Odyssey. I feel like that's probably what to expect. Either way, I am going to lose my shit either way. I love Super Mario 3D Mario is like one of my all-time favorite games. It's just an event game to me at this point. Like when a 3D Mario drops, it is a stop what you're doing, this is a game you play to me. And it's just gonna be so giddy to see what the next game of this series is gonna be, especially on such on an anniversary year. Like, are they gonna lean into that? That'd be kind of interesting. They do kind of like a Sonic kind of style, like how they love this coincide their game with the anniversary titles, anniversary milestones. So it's gonna be it's just an exciting time on that end here. I do see we're going to see some Zelda. I think it's going to be a tease. I do think we're going to see a tease of like what this upcoming Zelda will be. I don't think it's going to be the follow-up to Tears yet. I still think that's too soon. There's been a lot of rumors of a Ocarina of Time remake in the works for like the newer hardware, probably in correlation with the movie, since I am betting that the movie's going to be heavily based on Ocarina of Time. And since we just got an announcement of when the movie's coming out, which is next March of 2027, I feel like you're going to start slowly do that tease, and I think this is the place to do it. And I feel like that remake is happening. Like, I know we had the Ocarina of Time remake on the 3DS, which was a great remake, but I think this will be from the ground up, a AAA probably the first true AAA remake that we get from Nintendo. And it makes it because this will get people into Zelda, and especially because Ocarina of Time, as much as like it is an amazing game, it has aged. Even with the 3DS improvements, which still is the best way to play it, it's not the most accessible, and I feel like this will be your best way to bring new audiences with Zelda, particularly with the game that is still to this day a fan favorite. So I expect a tease of the next Zelda. If it's the upcoming, I feel like it's going to be the remake of Ocarina of Time, or even like potentially we might get those Twilight Princess Wind Waker ports finally. I feel every time when I predict that, I think we're just teasing ourselves here, but maybe this will finally be the time. I hope I'm right. I might be wrong. I probably am wrong, but I hope I'm right. But I feel like that's where we get the tease on Zelda. I do think we get a tease of the new Animal Crossing. I don't see that as a this year title. I see that more as like a 2026, potentially 2027 release. It just will give us a tease of what will follow up. Again, they want to probably just get people to be hyped of what the next like year or two will look like for the Switch. Kind of like what they did with the Switch presentation and the E3 2017 presentation as well. So again, I'm not expecting like a release date or like launch year, but I do see a tease of the new Animal Crossing going along. I expect some sort of form of Fire Emblem. I'm expecting more like Fire Emblem Free Houses, like maybe more like potential follow-up for that, because that was such a game busters for that series, and people really seem to love that. And they do support Fire Emblem so well. So I see that. Like I think it's gonna be more like a bigger title, like Free Houses, like a follow-up to that. I don't expect it launched the year. I expect it probably 2026, but they're going to tease that Sakurai's new project I think is going to show up here. I don't want to say Smash Brothers because I don't know if we're ready for Smash Brothers yet. Smash Ultimate is such a big game and feels so complete to me that I think the follow-up to it's always going to have an uphill battle, and I do feel the follow-up to Smash, which I do think we will get on the Switch too. I don't think we'll get the reveal or even a tease of it here. If it is, I predict a reboot of anything. If they do anything Smash related, I can see them just supporting Ultimate. Like, I could see them having an Ultimate version just for the Switch 2, or like a Switch 2 update to it. That's kind of where I see more in Smash. But I do see Sakurai's project that he's been working. Is it a new Kid Icarus game? Is it a new IP? Either of those two, I hope it is. Kid Icarus Uprising is a phenomenal game that's trapped on the 3DS. Even if that gets like a HD remake on the Switch 2, I would love that. That's enough to me to get excited. But Sakurai making a new IP or working on a new IP would be so fascinating to me, because Sakurai has basically been stuck with either Kirby or Smash Brothers. Kid Icarus is like the only time he truly kind of branched out of those franchises. So it would be very fascinating, especially because, you know, Sakurai's just getting older. We don't. I do see him as a guy who worked till he's dead, but how much time do we really have with Sakurai left as a game developer, you know? So it's just like, I just want a new IP from the man. Like, I don't want him to be stuck with Smash the entire his entire career. Like, it would be so fascinating to see what a new IP from Sora, Sakurai's studio team, can cook up. So I do see that happening. Also, speaking of like Switch 2 upgrades, I can't believe I did not mention it. I do think we're gonna get like Switch 1, Switch 2 upgrades. Like, I do think they're gonna be performance patches. I could even see new content being added with these games. Is there gonna be a price point to get these upgrades? I want to say no. I do see Nintendo doing it. I could see it being like, you know, a few bucks, but they're probably going to really be pushing it with the Nintendo Switch Online service. Like, I do see this being kind of like they're big to keep your Nintendo Switch Online, or potentially upgrade to the Switch 2 version of Nintendo Switch Online. This is kind of like how they do with, like, you know, the top tier. Like, you get all the retro consoles, and you get like some of the DLC. If you get like their premium tier, you get all the Switch 1 upgraded compatible games with Switch 2 free of charge, even though you're paying, you know, a yearly subscription, which I do see an online boost for a price hike for that for Switch 2 specifically. I don't see more than $10 for the yearly one. I think it'd be a really tough sell. Again, Nintendo could do it. They're greedy. They're you know, they can show their greedy side sometimes, but I do predict a Switch 2 online price jump, but this is how they're going to like ease the blow to that here. Which also Virtual Console, or like the Nintendo Switch Online retro aspect. I do think we're going to get a new system here. I actually would say more DS than GameCube, because GameCube, they seem to be wanting to do more like remakes or remasters with that. So if you put that on the Switch, I think it does diminish those releases. That being said, I could still see GameCube, but I feel like DS is going to happen. They did do DS for the Wii U, and it worked pretty all right on that end. I wonder how the Switch, could they patent something with DS, and I just wonder how they're going to work. Like, is it going to potentially you have like the bottom screen on your Switch device, like the Switch, and then you can simulcast it to the dock that could, like, if it's plugged into the TV, they can do like the top screen. Like, there is some interesting way. I wonder how they're going to implement it, but I do. If I'm a betting man, if I gotta pick GameCube or DS for the new console, I feel like DS. We're gonna get DS games, especially because the DS is a very popular console. Again, at the time of this recording, second best-selling console of all time. And the fact that we haven't had a kind of a retro or like virtual console since the Wii U, I think Nintendo's gonna jump up on that here. I do see that possible. GameCube is a possibility as well, but I do think DS is more likely gonna be on that end here. Other release, I mean, it's kind of crazy because I do think it's going to be a heavy hitter direct. Like, I think we're going to see some form of all the big heavy hitters. I can see the tease of the new Yoshi game. I definitely see some for a Kirby game. I don't know if it's going to be like that Planet Robobot remake, that remaster that we've been hearing so much about. If it's going to be the follow-up to Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, that's the one I'm hoping for. I don't know if we're going to see it. I can see more of them going back to a traditional Kirby, like a Star Allies type stuff, but I hope it's more Forgotten Lands, because that game was such a phenomenal game. One of my favorite games of this decade. One of my favorite games of 2022. And there's been enough time that I feel like you could tease that, and I can see that coming down the pipeline within the next year or two. But I don't know. We're definitely going to get some for the Kirby. What kind of Kirby? I feel like it's going to be a crapshoot. Regarding on that end, but if I want a personal wish, I hope it's like the tease of the follow-up to Forgotten Lands, like that more 3D Kirby aspect that we got with that game. What other games we can get here that I feel potentially could blow our minds? I had like a list, but I'm just like stuff like Pokemon. I think they might tease the next generation. Pokemon's an interesting one because they normally kind of do that with their own presentation, and the fact that they're really going to be pushing Pokemon Legends Z and A this year, I think it's too soon to announce the next gen, but I can see some Switch 2 upgrades with Pokemon Legends. I think that might be it, but they might tease like what the Pokemon will be supported with the Switch 2. Like, we are currently working on the next mainline entry on the Switch 2. Stay tuned for more information type stuff. That's kind of what I expect for Pokemon. Maybe just more Legends, Z and A. That's kind of where we're at here. So much heavy hitters. Like, third-party support. I'm even like thinking of like third-party, like what we could get. I can see the Rayman game that's been rumored to be in the works popping up here. I could see that because Ubisoft and Nintendo has always been buddy-buddy. Ubisoft's kind of in disarray right now, so that's why I'm like, I don't want to say it's a for sure bit, but if it's gonna pop up somewhere, this is probably gonna be the place. So regarding that here, it's just so many games. Metroid, we already talked Metroid, we already talked Mario. I think we're gonna see a new Donkey Kong game. I feel like the time is now. They've been really giving Donkey Kong love. We got Donkey Kong Country Returns HD earlier this year. We're getting a new theme park expansion later this summer. We have a new redesign of Donkey Kong potentially. So I feel like a new Donkey Kong game is for inedible. The question is, what is it gonna be? Is it gonna be a continuation of the Donkey Kong Country games, like a 2D side scroller, which I would be all for, but Retro won't be making it because they'd be doing Metroid Prime 4 unless they have another team that's like working on that as well. The one I'm hoping for, and the one that's been kind of spookily rumors, is a 3D Donkey Kong game. I feel like it's time to give Donkey Kong another chance in 3D. It blows my mind that Donkey Kong 64 is still to this day the only 3D Donkey Kong game that we have gotten. So I hope. The only reason why I don't want to bet on it is because I would see a 3D Mario over a 3D Donkey Kong, and I feel like if you do especially within the same launch year, I feel it could like go into each other's sales. But I feel like we're gonna get some form of Donkey Kong, a new Donkey Kong game, and I think the 3D Donkey Kong game is probably going to be the most exciting aspect to it, and I hope we do get it, because man, we need more DK games. It still blows my mind that Tropical Freeze is the last true new Donkey Kong game, a phenomenal game, an all-time banger, but the fact that that game's over 10 years old at this point, we need a new Donkey Kong game here. I don't see Pikmin popping up as of yet. That's normally always been like more of a mid-late gen kind of game for them here. Other franchises, like I'm trying to see regarding, like I wonder with the third party, like what exclusive third party game are we going to get on the Switch? That's where the Switch 2, that's where I want to know, like, could we get a new Sonic game with it? Like Sega and Nintendo's been buddy. We got the Sonic Crossing Sonic Racing Crossroads coming up this year. I could definitely see that making some appearance here. I'm not betting on it, but like third party support, like Capcom, I feel like might be working on something new with Nintendo. Like I think they're gonna announce like obviously games that are on other consoles, like Elden Ring, Monster Hunter. Like think games that like make sense on the Switch, like handheld wise, that could potentially sell people. And like a lot of people bought Elden Ring, a lot of people bought Monster Hunter, but people are willing to double dip if you can bring that on the go. And again, as much as like the Steam Deck is a thing and people do have it, it's not as big as the Switch, so there's still an audience who hasn't even delved into it, and this could be their way to get into it, into those handhelds or like the Nintendo consoles. So I do see some form of like big third party support, like Elden Ring's coming with the Switch. It might have like a Ultimate Edition with the new upcoming multiplayer standalone game and a DLC. I could see that happening. I do think more like Capcom, like the Resident Evil remakes will be coming to Switch, like Switch 2. There's the endless possibilities. Another one, I do see Microsoft at this event. I think Microsoft's going to be this is where they're going to really start getting buddy with Nintendo. I think they're going to announce like a lot of their first party titles. It's going to work with the Switch 2, and like you can buy them at the Switch 2. This might be viewed as a crazy out there one, but I don't know. I feel like the marketing with the Xbox right now, this is an Xbox with like everything that marketing that they're going, like, you know, everything's on Xbox. I see Game Pass on Switch 2. I can see a Switch 2 version of Game Pass. I don't think it's going to get everything like PC or Xbox Game Pass, but I do see Game Pass on the Switch 2, and they're going to announce it, like what games are going to be compatible with that. And I do see it being a smaller one, because I do see these games also having some form of like you can just buy it on the storefront as well. But I do see some form of like Xbox Game Pass coming to Switch 2. Like I think it's gonna happen. It's a kind of big out there presumption, but I see it. I don't know. Microsoft and Nintendo has been buddy. I could see that working with them here. And it was just help with like Microsoft's marketing and stuff like that here. So I don't know. It may be crazy, but I could see it here. But I do see Microsoft having a big presence here. Probably Doom Dark Ages being confirmed for Switch 2. And now, like, I can see some of their current titles that they're coming out this year being confirmed for Switch 2. Hell, I could even they might even go like Starfield Switch 2. You know, before PlayStation 5 would be kind of funny. I don't really see that, but I could see it coming to Switch 2 type stuff. But yeah, like I'm expecting this to be a very big event. I do see Rockstar with this. I think they're going to port Red Dead 2. I think if they do anything, it's going to be like Red Dead 2. GTA 6, I'm kind of like 50-50 on. Because that's the thing, like it's gonna be a very beefy game, and I don't expect the Switch 2 can really run it, so that's why I'm very hesitant to say it. But again, like Rockstar knows there is an audience with it, and it, you know, I could see them finally doing it here. If not, we're definitely getting like a Red Dead 2 port on Switch 2. Potentially even GTA 5, but I think that one's kind of more of an offshoot because GTA 6 is like within the next year here. I don't see that happening, but I do see some form of Rockstar, particularly Red Dead 2, regarding that. There's just so much to go on over that. I don't know if I'm going to be like over expanding. I do see a Dead franchise coming back. Like we already have Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life coming back from the dead for the Switch 1. I see like a Star Fox or F-Zero, or even like an ARMS. Like I see like a franchise that we haven't seen from Nintendo in a while coming up here. The one I just don't know what to bet on. The first two that comes to mind is either Star Fox or F-Zero. Like I feel like enough time has passed, and I feel if they have been cooking something, it could be teased here. But I do see some form of a dead Nintendo franchise coming back with the Switch 2 Direct. Regarding that here, we did Kirby, pick like Animal Crossing, Mario Kart, Zelda. Yeah, there's just so much. I expect this to be very first party heavy. I do see third party support, but I do see this being first party heavy because they're going to sell the console. This is them trying to sell you the console, and how they sell their consoles has always been first party titles. And I think we're really going to get big onto those here. Like, really, if it's just 3D Mario Kart, I feel that that's enough to make me excited. It's just also like what will get the general audience excited on that here, especially if it is going to be launching at a little higher price, like at 400, 450. There's definitely going to be in this, and especially with this economy climate that we're in, it's going to be a very tough sale. I do not seeing it have too much issues, but I do wonder like what kind of hardware we're gonna get. But it's gonna be heavy first party. I just expect some very big heavy hitters. I'm probably gonna have a lot of what the F moments during my stream, which I will be streaming the direct on Wednesday morning with y'all. So if you guys want to see my live reactions and hang out with me and start your day out there, definitely go. I stream over on Twitch and here on YouTube as well with T_Roy Jenkins here. But that's kind of like all I have really to predict here. I apologize for the randomness here. I'm trying to get the YouTube channel running, and I have like a script in front of me, or like I have like a bullet points here. So I'm overall just super excited for this. I can't wait to see what this new era of Nintendo is going to be like. Like, there's just so much to look forward to. Because the Switch 2, like, the Switch is such in a good place that it's going to be interesting to see how Nintendo follows it up, and seeing how this might be the most traditional transition that we have seen in a while. So, but I want to know what y'all are excited about. What do you guys expect from the Switch 2 Direct? Like, what are you guys expecting for it? Like, how powerful, how much the price, what kind of games we're going to be seeing? What are you guys seeing from the Switch 2 Direct? I would love to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions. Drop them down in the comments here. But until then, again, I will be streaming the event this Wednesday. Definitely come on through if not here. Make sure to like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe, hit the notification button, all that good stuff here. But thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your day. I will see y'all around, and take easy yourself. Peace.